So I've tried to put together this whole presentation of the true gospel of Jesus Christ into a video, but it keeps going so long that I can't upload the videos. So I'm going to try to shorten it a bit here. I've had my notes and my scripture that I've looked at, but I just want to present it and get it out there for everyone who watches this video to hear. Because the gospel of Jesus Christ has been subtly changed and therefore destroyed by the church, by Christians, by religion as a whole. The gospel of Jesus Christ is this, and it's predicated on the fact that we're all dying because we inherited death from Adam, and because we are dying, we sin, as Scripture says. So we're all heading to that destiny of death. To be dying, we will die. But here's the good news, and that's the gospel. Gospel means good news. The good news is that through the death for sin, the entombment and resurrection of God's Son, Jesus Christ, sin and death will be put away for all mankind in the fullness of time. The gospel message is good news because we're all destined to death. Eternal hell, if you look at Scripture and you properly translate it and understand in the Old Testament, the concept was never introduced. When Adam sinned, he was banished from the garden. When Cain killed Abel, he had to wander and he couldn't grow anything from the earth. There is no mention of eternal hell. The word Sheol was used in the Old Testament, and that's the grave. That's the unseen, where people go when they die. When they die, they're gone. They're put in the ground. You don't see them anymore. Jesus Christ spoke of Gehenna, which is an actual physical place just outside of Jerusalem that people in Jesus' time would have known everything about, because that's where old Israelites sacrificed their children to false gods in the valley of Hinnom. The Greek equivalent of that is Gehenna. And that has to do with the 1,000-year kingdom that is about to unfold when Jesus returns to earth. It has nothing to do with eternity. Eternal hell has no place in Scripture if you truly study the Word. It's death that is our destiny. It's death that we're heading for. It's death that we need to be saved from. And the good news is that because of Jesus Christ and the fact that he went to the grave, that he experienced death, was dead for 3 days, and then was resurrected, that act by Jesus Christ saves us, has saved us from our sin, and saves us from death. That act alone. Now, what Christianity, religion, and the church has done is changed that statement of fact, what Jesus did for all mankind to put away death, and they have changed it into an offer so that it's not even good news anymore. They say, if you accept Jesus Christ, you'll go to heaven. If you don't accept Jesus Christ or follow certain rules, depending on the denomination that is presenting this to you, you will be separated from God in eternal hell of fire and disgusting torment. And it'll never end. So it's not good news. It's an offer, an ultimatum. Choose Christ because he loves you so much, but if you don't choose him or do the right things, he's going to burn you forever. That's a sick choice, a sick ultimatum. And it's based on the one receiving the message to determine whether it's good or bad news. So it's not good news. It's not a gospel. The gospel that the Church of Christianity and all its denominations present to you is not a gospel at all. Gospel means good news. But the gospel the church presents is a decision you have to make in order to make it good news, but it might be bad news. Because if you reject Jesus Christ, then it's going to be bad news. You're going to be tortured forever. So the gospel message isn't good news in itself. It's up to the person making the decision to determine whether it's good or bad news. And that's a subtle twist, but it makes the gospel of Jesus Christ a non-gospel. A gospel is not a choice. It's a pronouncement of what has been done for you. It's a pronouncement of good news. The good news is that you're dying, but you're not going to remain dead forever when you die, because Jesus Christ died for sin of all mankind. And eventually every man, woman, and child, each in their own order, will be made alive and with God forever because of the death, entombment, and resurrection of Jesus Christ.